still hung in the autumn air. I was squeezing my mom and dad goodbye at the airport after a week of tearful exchanges with friends and schoolmates. I gathered up all of these goodbyes and knew that their laughs, smiles, and tears would help propel me forward on my journey. We travel not only with our physical baggage. We have to delicately carry the excitement and sadness with it. The memories of home. It's bittersweet, isn't it? The start of a new journey must mean the end of another. It's the circle of life, I guess. Or something like it. You see, this wasn't my first long-term trip. I studied for a year abroad in the UK during college, and I never regretted it for a second. But there's something different and distinct about packing up your things and heading off to a different country for a 2-year job contract as an adult. You already have a sense of the stress of what's to come. The reinvention, the forced conversations, the grasping at straws to find a tribe and fold into a community. It takes work. But it's a piece of the story. A piece of my story. A piece of my personal journey that I have no choice but to embrace. I refuse to accept being another one of my family members or friends who surrendered their dreams of seeing the world because life had other plans. Sure, I had my panic attacks the nights leading up to the departure, but who wouldn't? It is stressful trying to cram 2 years of life into only 2 suitcases. The thoughts race. But what if I need that sweater? What if I can't find this there? What if I'm forgetting something? What if I get homesick? Then, the morning arrived, and there we were.
Where is he?
Standing there, passport in hand, and the faintest memory of cheap American whiskey on my tongue from the night before. One last goodbye between the life I knew at home and the life that awaits me on the other side of Terminal C. Deep down, though, I was excited. Past the worry and the fear and the pangs of sadness. Oh, the FOMO! What if I miss great memories while I'm gone? But what will I be doing? I'll be making my own great memories. I held that power, too. Holding that power and my suitcase and the last hug from Mom and Dad, I headed for the ticket counter. The journey may have been unwritten, but I knew that even the most novice writer can fill empty pages. The journey was mine, and the dreams were too big to leave behind. So I packed them into my 2 trusty Samsonite bags and carried them with me. Up, up, and away.
Home.
Home.
What does it mean?
How do you define it?
Is it a feeling, a place?
An idea.
I've often heard people say the phrase,
Find your way home.
so is it something you can find?
How do you go home?
Where is that? Take me home.
Be home before dark.
My hometown. Homeward bound.
Home for the
makes me think of home.
Is it a memory?
Is it a dream? Is it a nightmare?
Is it always changing? Or did it never really exist at all? What is home? What is home?
What is home?
What is home?
I haven't left my home since March, and I am going crazy. I miss going on fun weekend getaways and day trips. I'm desperate for even just a staycation. Everything happening in the world has me so sad. I just want things back to normal. I'd love to escape from my house, to be on a beach drinking a pina colada after sleeping in very, very late, feeling the sand between my toes and smelling the ocean, relaxing by the pool and seeing the sunny rays sparkling on the water, then going to a fancy restaurant you can't afford and ordering everything off the menu. Even a long car ride with my family all together, going somewhere we can make fun memories and take fun family photos. A break from the world.
I'm tired of being home.
I can't work from home any longer.
I can't do any more virtual school.
I can't watch my kids, teach them, and work my job.
I am sick of Zoom.
My house is driving me crazy.
It's like the walls are closing in on me.
I feel trapped.
Get off the road, idiots!
Help! I have been stuck at home and it has been torture. Since all of my plans have been squashed for this year, I've decided to do some short road trip. We're leaving Indiana Sunday morning and heading to Springfield, Illinois, then heading to St. Louis Monday and Tuesday. It'll be my 16-year-old daughter and myself. She picked St. Louis because she wanted to see the arch. And it sounds good to me since I can check Gateway Arch National Park and Ulysses S. Grant National Historic Site off of my checklist. We're staying an hour in Illinois off of Route 66, which is not ideal, but that's what we're doing. I guess I'm curious about time management. I have to make reservations for things. I have the Arch Visitor Center for 11 a.m. and tickets for a Mississippi cruise at 3. Unfortunately, going up in the arch is closed. And the old courthouse is closed, but I'm assuming we can wander the parks and sculpture gardens for 3 to 4 hours without rushing around. Anything else right in that area that I should check out that's not too time-consuming? I love history, photography, and monuments and architecture. Thoughts?
Do they still have the riverboat casinos? I visited St. Louis once about 20 years ago for a meeting. What about $1,000 on a crap table? Probably once in a lifetime thing for me though.
My daughter's 16.
Oh, my bad.
Wait, Route 66 is great. We completed our Route 66 trip last summer, and there are so many must-see sites for Missouri. Enjoy.
My husband has always had a dream to drive the full length of Route 66. Having watched the movie Cars, I become passionate about Route 66. What a fabulous piece of American history that I'm grateful we're preserving. I'm eager to explore more of it through other states.
It is a must-see trip for Americans and non-Americans alike. We all reminisce about the freedom of the open road. And it's here. Great restaurants to stop at, local places to visit, and all the pop soda Coke beverages to try.
It's
The Great American Road Trip.
Cars, gas stations, snacks, music.
being with friends and just having a really good time. Having fun and letting loose because there's nothing else to do.
Singing.
Sleeping.
Novelty shops, no real commitment, adventure, spontaneous action.
Gas station bathroom breaks to get more snacks and to stretch. Looking at the beautiful cities through the car windows.
Falling asleep and waking up in a different state and being very confused. Chocolate!
Spring break. 7-Eleven slushies, wind, getting lost, mild panic, maps, souvenirs.
Reaching through the back seat to get stuff from the trunk and getting my arm stuck.
Roadside attractions, wildlife, sightseeing, unpredictable, badly planned, a funny story to tell later in life.
Sleepiness, and my phone battery died when my sister stole the charger.
Car sickness!
Oh, Dora!
Homesickness.
classes, the beach, and jeeps. Windows down, classic rock music, curvy back roads, interstates, and getting stuck in the middle seat.
Earbud, city skyline, horizon, sunset, sunrise.
A long stretch of road with some fields on either side of you.
A road trip playlist is essential when crossing over state lines and can't make out any of the lyrics to the songs. Gotta start with Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts. Then sprinkle in some other classics. On the Road Again, Bohemian Rhapsody, Party in the USA. And definitely some classic rock, because that's what my dad would put on whenever we went anywhere. Maybe switch it up too, with something I can really belt to, like some Sweet Caroline or Billie Eilish or, ooh wait, Don't Stop Believin' in Bohemian Rhapsody. Wrap it up with some 90s grunge, folk music, California Dreamin'. Now that's a perfect soundtrack.
Packed car!
Open road, playlist,
Naps!
bonding.
Route 66 is gone, the one we see on TV and remember from old movies, but there are many places to stop and see things from the past and experience the local flavor and vibe as you go. We ate at the Roadkill Cafe. Great food.
Where does Route 66 go through? The west of St. Louis? Well, maybe there's somewhere you and your daughter could explore there. Does it pass through Columbia?
Why would anyone consider Columbia? Do not go there. This town is a dirty little town of about 100,000 people with a dirty university. I'm sure there are nice places in Columbia and on campus. They are not easy to find. And we were not impressed. In fact, we were very disappointed. It's no wonder the enrollment at Mizzou is shrinking. We stayed an extra day to give this town and school another chance. Our conclusion? We would not live there or send our child there for college. Missouri is a beautiful state with hidden jewels throughout the state. Columbia is not one of either. Missouri has nice colleges and universities throughout the state. Mizzou is not one of those either. Don't waste your time in Columbia, Missouri.
What specifically did you find dirty about Columbia or otherwise distasteful? I have no dog in this fight.
Not even a Mizzou grad.
But Columbia is on the regular livable cities list.
Sorry you had a terrible experience. It appears that among your 28 reviews, you gave 2 favorable reviews last summer to Las Margaritas restaurant in the Holiday Inn East. Did you come back for another visit? It would have been helpful if in your first forum post you gave some specifics. The purpose of your trip to Columbia, when it was, where you stayed, where you ate, what else you did to give the town a second chance to redeem itself.
I don't live in Columbia, and I'm not a Mizzou grad. However, I'm in Columbia at least once a week, usually downtown. There is a lot of construction going on or near the university. Either last summer or the summer of 2016, it was even worse. A big area near the university was closed off to traffic. Very unpleasant to businesses and visitors to the area. Still, the quad on campus is usually nicest throughout the year. The grounds are beautifully maintained, and there are a wide range of interesting restaurants in the downtown area. I'm sorry you didn't get to experience any of them.
I have to agree. We stayed at the Holiday Inn Columbia East Hotel, and they screwed up my reservation so bad. The assistant GM hung up on me. Not one person will return my phone calls about the issue, and on top of that, they have a restaurant full of rude people and overpriced food. No air conditioning. Parents screaming at each other in the next room and crying babies. Snobby hotel staff. The employee at the front desk was a drama queen with a bad attitude. Bugs, gross floors, spider webs,
cockroaches,
wallpaper tearing off, and a room on the lowest level with no view. It was too short of a bathroom door. The top half was missing. The sheets on the bed were not clean, and the pillows had stuff on them. And
I don't mean mints. My bed had a weird stain on it. It gave me bed bugs. I am very allergic to bed bugs, so rather than a few itchy bites, my entire body was covered in golf ball-sized welts. Next door to us, a newborn was getting really sick from the bugs too. Every night, the people across the hall had this drum crowd who would go up and down the halls, beating and kicking at the doors, and would leave actual dents and stuff too. The locks also sometimes wouldn't click all the way, so if you weren't careful, people could wander in. But hey, at least they gave me free breakfast.
Worst place I ever walked into, and bad from the surface. Overweight old woman with a parrot, whose stench could be detected 50 feet from the front door. Ran the place with a rotten mood. It was, in a word, crusty. From the carpet to the wallpaper to the bedding. The water wasn't quite clear and the floor didn't exactly creak, but it felt ready to give way. Like a mess of popsicle sticks held together by an inordinate mass of dried Elmer's glue underneath each step. We were only there for an event and would never return to this hotel for anything.
I'm sorry you had a bad time. I didn't go to Mizzou and I've never vacationed in Columbia, but when I have been down there for work, I've found some pretty good restaurants and had a pleasant enough time. To each their own, but based on your assessment, I would have to disagree with my admittedly limited experience.
I'm a University of Kansas fan, so I have no reason to defend Columbia, but I have found it easy to locate good restaurants there. That said, it isn't a community I would have suggested as a tourist destination. I've only been there for conventions, or once to be there for a live broadcast of What'd You Know.
It's okay. Most cities suck.
Could you elaborate and provide more information on where in Columbia you went? That would help others understand what part of town you were talking about. I've lived in Columbia for 10 years. I previously lived in New York City, San Francisco, and Atlanta. I travel a ton for work and leisure, as you can tell from my 1,000+ reviews I have posted. I've never found Columbia to be dirty. Sure, there are some poorer parts of town, but those exist in most cities. I'm wondering if that's where you went, because it doesn't sound like you'd be in most parts that residents and visitors would be in.
Living close, we are regularly in Columbia, and there are some nice places to eat at and some good shops available. That being said, it would never be a tourist destination for someone, and I would never have the desire to live there either. Not really my cup of tea, and crime is pretty high there. But that being said, I would never call the town dirty. I think it presents rather well. Sorry you didn't have a good experience.
Back to your original question. As far as spending time in the city of St. Louis, if you are going to do that, always lock your car. Do not leave anything in it, as there are a lot of carjackings and people breaking into cars. Soulard has bars, nightclubs, and a big farmer's market. City Museum is really nice for the kids. If you drive out from the city, you will find nice places to stay and not so expensive. The weather is completely unpredictable, so do plan for that. The Forest Park has the art museum, the zoo, the Muni,
which has Broadway shows.
Oh, and a little lake to take paddle boats out on. It's a great place with lots to do. Just use extra caution and keep hydrated.
St. Louis for 4 days next month. Help!
Yes, I plan ahead. We will have a car. My family, my husband and I in our mid-30s, and our 2 kids, who will be 9 and almost 5 at the time, will be in St. Louis for Friday to Monday next month. I feel like I don't have a lot of frame of reference for St. Louis, as I've never been there, have never known anyone who has lived there, and really have no preconceived notion about the place.
I know literally nothing. LOL.
Interested in thoughts in staying at the Union Station Hilton Curio versus Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark. We're big on paying a little more for the club level rooms, so we're planning on that no matter where we stay. The Hilton Frontenac is also an option for part of the time, since these downtown hotel prices are already ridiculously inflated.
I know a lot about
We're
it.
not totally throwing that all out the window and getting an Airbnb in Soulard. I was asked, because I read here that the area between
I'm over in
Or
City.
should we just stick to downtown and spend a few hours at Soulard? What is considered the art museum in St. Louis to visit?
The City Museum?
Any areas to just flat out avoid together with two small children?
Yeah.
Lastly, any recommendations for anything in particular in Soulard that would be entertaining for the kids, or any must-dos while in St. Louis?
Yes, the zoo.
Other than the zoo, we love animals, but can see animals anytime at our hometown zoo. Examples of things that would be interesting for our children would be some sort of children's shop, toy store, art-related activity, unique playground, act.
Speaking of safety, we are a family of 3 different ethnicities, and we were wondering if Hannibal is a safe place to stay the night?
Oh, well, yes, it's as safe as any other similar-sized town in Missouri. Not criticizing you at all, but what exactly do you think would happen to you in Hannibal to prompt your first TripAdvisor post? I might be overlooking something.
Racism?
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Wasn't Mark Twain born in Hannibal? Or he lived there? Or is that Tom Sawyer? Or is it the same person? Ugh, I always forget. And wait, Jesse James is somehow important too, right? And there's like a cave? Maybe? Or I think that's Branson. Yeah, it's Branson.
Now, personally, our favorite thing to do in Branson is Silver Dollar City. Yes, it's a theme park, but it's so much more than rides. It's a step back in time with an 1880s theme. Now, there are several shows right within Silver Dollar City, which is a part of your ticket. When we're not in Silver Dollar City, we'll typically go to 1 to 2 shows a day. 3 to 4 days should suffice. We typically rent a condo or a house, but when we stay at a hotel, we get one on or near the strip.
It's been many years since we've been to Branson,
Oh, our kids were little then.
but with COVID, all our other vacation plans are on hold. We decided to take a trip next week and take our 6-year-old granddaughter with us. We have a condo rented for a 5-day stay at the Stonebridge Village COA. We remember going to Dolly Parton when our kids were this age. They still remember it.
Can anyone speak to how they're managing with the COVID precautions? How about Silver Dollar City or Branson Bell? I can't imagine having to do Silver Dollar City with a mask. It looks like they've closed their indoor performances, which were always great. Any suggestions for things to do outdoors in the mornings? We plan on spending most of our time just relaxing and hanging out at the condo. But would like some opinions from people who've been recently. Thanks for any input.
Dolly Parton's Stampede and Sight and Sound Theater are definite musts.
Yeah!
Dolly gives you an entire chicken to eat with your bare hands. It's freaking awesome.
Hi, all. I've done a search for the show on here and read lots of posts, and it seems everyone enjoys Dolly Stampede.
Yeah, we do.
We'll be in Branson around the holidays and thought it'd be good to have something booked for lunch or dinner. I was just wondering if they were serving alcohol at all. I read somewhere that the Florida venue started serving alcohol, so I was wondering if Branson would follow suit. We'll book a lunch show if it's a dry show, but dinner if we can have a drink. Thanks.
I was just there a couple weeks ago and didn't see any true alcoholic beverages. They had a lot of fruity drinks that all contained Sprite, so just sugar overloads. We really didn't look close for any alcohol as we weren't willing to do any of the upselling, with ticket prices being so high to begin with at the show. Have a great vacation.
Enjoy your trip.
Don't waste a second.
Your vacation will be over and you'll be back home and at work before you know it.
Oh my gosh, so jealous of your vacation.
Sounds like the best vacation.
My best vacation? My best vacation was when my father took me to Houston, Texas for Comic-Con. I got to meet my personal hero, Grant Gustin, and he was cooler than I ever imagined. I got a picture with him and everything.
I went to Texas for my spring break with some friends. The trip was absolute anarchy as soon as we hit the road. First, the windshield wipers didn't work. And we were driving through this ridiculous crazy storm at 2 a.m. trying to keep each other awake. But we did make it, and from then on it was beaches and fun. Until the transmission in the car went out. My friend's mom flew down, and she bought a rental car, and me and my friend got to fly back home to Missouri. For as crazy and unexpected as it was, and considering how many things went wrong, it was the best road trip and an even better experience.
Best vacation I had was a trip to Scotland. It was beautiful. The air was clean. The mountains, lakes, and castles were all impressive. And the people were mostly fun.
The best vacation I ever went on was to Cape Cod. I was surrounded by some of the closest friends I ever had. We visited historical Boston, the beach, had great ice cream, and even caught the go-karts at the end. Yes, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It was so fun. I loved making sandcastle homes for the crabs, even if they didn't love it.
I went to Germany. I loved the food there. I loved the mountains. The water was so clear.
The best vacation I had was to New York when I was 8 or 9. It was my first time in a bigger city than St. Louis, and I was so excited. All the people, new things, all the scenery.
One vacation that has a special place in my heart was when my dad took my brother and I to Branson. We stayed in this small, beat-up motel, and the owner's name was Crystal. She was such a character. She wore blue eyeshadow and red lipstick and had a smoker's voice, and she always judged you for getting more toilet paper for your room. It was also nice because me and my brother and my dad just built a stronger relationship.
Florida vacation was the best vacation. Got to chill out on the beach, do some cool activities, and just hang out for a week.
4 nights in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and 2 nights at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. I got to sit in my dream car, a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Stephen King Christine car.
And stay and experience the paranormal at the Stanley Hotel.
Stephen King The Shining Hotel.
I felt at home in both places and had amazing experiences going to the haunted Frontier Prison in Rawlins. I also rode the Royal Gorge train through a canyon. I spent time alone and time taking in the beautiful scenery in the air. It was beautiful.
The best vacation I ever had was when I went to Arlington, Texas for Nationals for Dance. I spent a lot of quality time with my team members and family. We went to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and I got to do the classic jump split with the cheerleaders. We also went ice skating, swimming, and mini golfing. Apart from the fun we had outside of competing, we also placed first with a lot of our routines. My solo being one of them, so I got a 4-foot-tall trophy.
My favorite vacation was going to Kansas City, Missouri. My dad took my siblings and I there for Christmas break, and it was really cool getting to experience a bigger city. My favorite part about it was getting to see all the lights of the city. Ooh. And also going to see a movie at midnight that had the volume so loud it shook the whole theater.
My favorite vacation was when my high school band got to go to Disney World. It was so much fun because it was the first trip I went on without my parents, and all my friends got to go. We also got to perform in a parade at Magic Kingdom, and that was so much fun. I got to meet all my favorite Disney characters, and honestly, it was a dream come true. We also went to Harry Potter World that same trip, and I was presented with a wand, and I cried. I think Harry Potter World was way more fun, and I've already decided that I'm going to go back. The rides were fun, the food was great, and I got souvenirs that I probably spent too much money on.
Sounds like a dream.
My dream vacation is taking a giant group of my friends and going to Greece and seeing all of the history and learning about the mythology. Then we rent a private house or cabin and just do whatever we want for a week or two.
Disney World, because I've never been and I've wanted to for so long. Coronavirus ruined the vacation for this year, but there's still hope for next year.
I would go to Europe. I admire the architecture and the history that even the simplest buildings carry.
Greece, because it's a place I've always wanted to see since I began becoming interested in Greek mythology.
Thanks, Percy Jackson series.
England, because I have an unhealthy obsession with the royal family and English history. I've always wanted to go there since I was a kid. I love the history and the accents.
I would go to Sicily, Italy. I love history, especially history involving crime. I love learning about organized crime, the mafia, La Cosa Nostra, mobs, etc. It's the birthplace of so many notorious mobsters and businessmen. Not to mention the beautiful views, food, language, music, architecture, people, and antiques. I think I'd enjoy walking down a stone street listening to music and looking at the childhood home of an infamous Don or cop.
Scotland. I'd love to see the architecture and discover my heritage.
My dream vacation trip would be to go to Japan. I'm in love with their culture and their food, and there are so many beautiful places I'd like to see, like the Golden Pavilion.
Totally Japan. It's wicked expensive. I love food and anime, and I'd probably be walking off the plane with roughly $800 worth of red bean buns and noodles.
Just someplace I can be with my friends without stress.
In my personal opinion, the best trip I could take would be surrounded by all my closest friends. It wouldn't matter where we would be heading because the greatest part of any road trip or vacation isn't necessarily about the destination. What makes a trip so special lies in the experiences that brings with it. Being able to see the wonders of the world wouldn't matter to me if I was surrounded by people I don't like or despise. I feel like something as simple as traveling across the state can be just as fun when you're with the people you care about the most.
I've often heard it said that
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
I never believed it at first. What's not to love about the freedom of the open road? Exploring, seeing new places, meeting new people. Through the years, though, I've come to realize something. It's not about where you've been or where you're going. It's not about airplane tickets purchased, stamps in a passport, souvenirs bought, or photos posted online. It's about who shares the journey with you and who is left behind and stayed at home. It's about the memories, the laughs, the time spent together, the hours of driving on an open road with nothing but gas station junk food and laughter and belting along to the radio. Pit stops at little hole-in-the-wall diners on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. It never was about where you're headed or where even the next stop is. It never really was. To me, it's about who you're with. Family, friends, loved ones. They make the journey fun and make returning home worthwhile. And to me, these people, they're my everything. They're my home.
Home.
Home is a place where you go to be without troubles from the outside world. Aside from the usual chores like dishes, there are no troubles or worries at home.
Where your heart is. Family.
Home is somewhere you feel like you belong.
Doing something you love.
Places where you can feel safe, comfortable, and at peace.
Home is whatever or wherever makes you feel the best.
Wherever my friends and family are.
And sometimes chaotic and stressful.
Home is somewhere I'd rest before starting my day.
Warmth. A place that is comforting and welcoming.
Home is anywhere I can walk, eat, sleep. Not just one home. Somewhere I can be myself.
Home is a feeling, something that can be lost and found again. I've had to move 4 times over the past 2 years, so I haven't felt at home for a long time.
Surrounded by people who appreciate me, somewhere away from my actual home, where I love to be.
Home, to me, is flexible in its meaning. And by that, I mean you can find it anywhere if you just look hard enough. Home and family are often seen as closely tied together, but family doesn't have to be strictly the people you're related to. Family can be your closest friends, or even your pets. You can always find home where you can find family.
Home.
Home.
Home. Home. Home.
Home.
Home. Home.
Home.
Home.
Home.
Home.